Good day, everyone. I am Lemuel Reyes from BSBA HRM12N, and I am here to present the Lesson 11 of the Human Resource Management entitled The Employee Benefits. Learning Outcomes. So, at the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify the mandatory benefits and contributions in the Philippines. Become familiar to the benefits received by an employee and explain the importance of effectively communicating the nature and value of benefits to employees. So, first of all, what is the mandatory benefits and contributions, and why is it necessary? It is necessary because in any company, whether big or small, the greatest asset is the people or the manpower. The company wins when they perform well, and the company suffers if they don't. As an employer, you are obliged to take care of your company's people by giving them the proper employee benefits as mandated by the government. By following these labor laws and ensuring that your employees understand their benefits, you will help them increase their job satisfaction, and which in turn will improve their work performance and positively impact your company. So let us proceed to topic 1, the mandatory employee benefits and contributions in the Philippines. So, employee benefits, coverage, and contributions. The Philippine Social Security System, strengthened by the provisions of the Republic Act No. 8282 or the Social Security Law, is the country's social insurance program and is consists of the following bodies. First, the Social Security System or SSS. SSS is a state-run social insurance program in the Philippines to workers in the private, professional, and informal sectors. The Social Security System serves as an insurance program set by the government for all wage earners from private institutions. And take note, the counterpart for government employees is called the GSIS here in the Philippines. Employees' SSS contributions are deducted from their salaries and withheld by their respective employers on a monthly basis. Employers also have a share in the monthly contribution. In SSS, covered employees are entitled to a package of benefits under the Social Security. Basically, the SSS provides for a replacement of income lost on account of the contingencies such as sickness, maternity, disability, retirement, death, and funeral. On top of it, members are required to contribute a certain amount depending on their salary bracket. Here is the new SSS contribution table, and it is effective since April 2019, and it is still effective until now. So here in the table, you will see the employee's salary bracket or range, the employee's monthly salary credit, the employee's and the employer's contribution, and the compensation solely paid by the employer. For example, an employee has a monthly income of 17,500. So, the employer is required to contribute 8% or 1,400 from this amount, while the remaining 4% or 700 should be withheld from the employee's salary. So, if you have any more questions about this table, feel free to send me a message and I will explain how this table works, and I will send you a soft copy of this table. Next, the second out of the three main bodies of the mandatory contributions in the Philippines. So, number 2 is the Home Development Mutual Fund or HDMF, also known as the Pag-ibig Fund. The Pag-ibig Fund is a provident savings system supplying housing loans to private and Philippine government employees and to self-employed persons who elect to join the fund. Technically, Pag-ibig is another form of national savings program and the financing office for affordable shelter here in the Philippines. Pag-ibig lets you have the following benefits. First, housing loan. Second, multi-purpose loan. Third, calamity loan. And fourth, the secured savings. The last one of the three main bodies of the mandatory contributions in the Philippines is number 3, the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, known as the PhilHealth. PhilHealth is administered by the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation and provides employees with the practical means of paying for adequate medical care in the Philippines. The PhilHealth is a government corporation attached to the Department of Health. It administers the National Health Insurance Program, which was established to provide health insurance coverage and ensure affordable and accessible healthcare services for all Filipinos. So here in this slide, you will be able to see the PhilHealth premium contribution effective since 2019 and up until now. Now, I will explain to you what is the coverage of these three main bodies of mandatory contributions in the Philippines. So it says, all employed persons under the age of 60 who earn a monthly income of more than 1,000 pesos are required to contribute to the three social insurance funds previously mentioned. Meanwhile, government employees under the retirement age of 65 and officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP, Philippine National Police or PNP, Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology or BJMP, and the Philippine Coast Guard known as PCG, who are under the age of 60, are mandated by law to contribute to the GSIS. To make it short, both private and government employees must contribute to the Pag-ibig Fund and PhilHealth. However, the membership is optional for self-employed persons, overseas Filipino workers, and non-working spouses. Topic number 2. The benefits programs. Most benefits fall into one of the following categories. Social insurance, but social insurance is the one that I have mentioned before, or the mandatory benefits. So we will now proceed to private group insurance, retirement, pay for time not worked, and family-friendly policies. In this topic, I will explain to you the certain benefits that fall under these categories. But before we tackle those categories, let us first understand the workers' compensation. Workers' compensation laws cover job-related injuries and death. Prior to enactment of these laws, workers suffering work-related injuries or diseases could receive compensation only by suing for damages. Moreover, the common law defenses available to employers meant that such lawsuits were not usually successful. In contrast, these laws operate under a principle of no-fault liability, meaning that an employee does not need to establish gross negligence by the employer. In return, employers receive immunity from lawsuits. One exception is the employer who intentionally contributes to a dangerous workplace. Employees are not covered when injuries are self-inflicted or stem from intoxication or willful disregard of safety rules. Workers' compensation benefits fall into four major categories. Number one is disability income, two, medical care, three, death benefits, and the fourth one is rehabilitative services. I will explain it to you further on the category number one in the next slide. The first category that I will discuss under the topic 2 is number 1, private group insurance. Group insurance rates are typically lower than individual rates. Why? Because of economic scales, the ability to pull risks, and the greater bargaining power of a group. Private insurance is any health insurance policy purchased by an employer or by an individual from a private insurance company. Public insurance is an insurance plan or policy that is subsidized by federal or state funds. In this category, we will discuss two major types, the medical insurance and disability insurance. Note that these programs are not legally required. Rather, they are offered at the discretion of employers. Medical insurance. Not surprisingly, public opinion surveys indicate that medical benefits are by far the most important benefit to the average person. Most full-time employees have medical insurance, especially in a larger workplace. Three basic types of medical expenses are typically covered. The first one is hospital expenses, the second one is surgical expenses, and the third one is physician's visits. Health insurance is a type of insurance coverage that typically pays for medical, surgical, prescription drug, and sometimes dental expenses. Health insurance can reimburse the insured for expenses incurred from illness or injury, or pay the care provider directly. Some known examples of medical insurance companies are the PhilHealth and the Health Maintenance Organizations, or what we call HMOs. Disability insurance. Two basic types of disability coverage exist. Only in larger workplaces are most employees covered by short-term and long-term disability insurance. Short-term plans typically provide benefits for 6 months or less, at which point long-term plans take over, potentially covering the person for life. Disability insurance is insurance that will pay out regular paychecks in case you become too ill or disabled to work. There are several kinds of disability insurance. Some provided by your employer, some you purchase yourself, and they all offer slightly different coverage and benefits for different situations. Death benefit. A death benefit is a payout to the beneficiary of a life insurance policy, annuity, or pension when the insured or annuitant dies. For life insurance policies, death benefits are not subject to income tax, and named beneficiaries ordinarily receive the death benefit as a lump sum payment. To understand more about the death benefit, beneficiaries must submit the insurer proof of death and proof of the deceased coverage. Beneficiaries of life insurance policies receive the death benefit payment free of ordinary income tax, while annuity beneficiaries may pay income or capital gains tax on death benefits received. Rehabilitative services. This is a special healthcare service that helps a person regain physical, mental, or cognitive abilities that have been lost or impaired as a result of disease, injury, or treatment. Rehabilitation services help people return to daily life and live in a normal or near normal way. The rehabilitative services may include physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language therapy, cognitive therapy, and mental health rehabilitation services. The second category under this topic is number 2, retirement. Earlier, we discussed that the old age insurance is part of a social security, a legally required source of retirement income. This remains the largest single component of the elderly's overall retirement income. Other sources of income are pensions, earnings from the assets, and other investments like stocks and bonds, earnings, and other sources. Retirement income policy is a life insurance policy providing for income during retirement age based on a percentage of a face amount for monthly income. This type of policy will have a cash value in excess of the face amount in the later policy years so as to provide high death benefits or adequate retirement income. Under this category is defined benefit. Defined benefit plans insulate employees from investment risk, which is borne by the company. In the event of severe financial difficulties that force the company to terminate or reduce employee pension benefits. A defined benefit plan is a plan that specifies the benefits to be paid and is financed or funded accordingly. Normally, benefits are defined in relation to an employee's salary. In a defined benefit plan, the actuarial risk and investment risks are borne by the employer. Also, defined benefit plans provide eligible employees a guaranteed income for life when they retire. Employers guarantee a specific retirement benefit amount for each participant that is based on factors such as employee salary and years of service. Next, defined contribution. Unlike defined benefit plans, defined contribution plans do not promise a specific benefit level for employees upon retirement. Rather, an individual account is set up for each employee with a guaranteed size of contribution. The advantage of these plans is for employers so that they can shift the investment risk to employees and present fewer administrative challenges because there is no need to calculate payments based on age and service. Defined contribution plans also are funded primarily by the employee, but many employers make matching contributions to a certain amount. Next, cash balance plans. This is a retirement plan in which the employer sets up an individual account for each employee and contributes a percentage of the employee's salary, and the account earns interest at a predefined rate. At retirement, participants can take an annuity based on their account balance or a lump sum, at which can then be rolled into an IRA or another employer's plan. The third category is number 3, pay for time not worked. At first blush, paid vacation, holidays, sick leave, and so forth may not seem to make economic sense. The employer pays the employee for time not spent working, receiving no tangible production value in return. Therefore, some employers may see a little direct advantage in this. Moving on to the last category of this topic, we will now discuss the family-friendly policies. These policies are created to ease employees' conflicts between work and non-work. Organizations may use family-friendly policies such as family leave policies and childcare. Evidence strongly suggests that firms using family-friendly policies have better quality management practices overall that are positively associated with organization performance. Technically speaking, that is the end of the topic 2 on lesson 11. But I have prepared a list on the other mandatory benefits that an employee should receive, which I got from the NDV Law Office. So listen carefully because this is the other benefits that you need to know and you need to be aware of as an employee. And this list is not included in the module. First on the list, premium pay. Premium pay refers to the additional compensation for work performed within 8 hours on non-work days, such as rest days and special days. The value of the first 8 hours of work plus an additional of at least 30% premium. If work is rendered on a special holiday and a scheduled rest day, then the premium increases to 50% of the daily wage. The term premium refers to higher wages given to employees who work in less desirable hours. This includes holidays, weekends, vacation days, or anything over 8 hours a day. And minimum wage is the minimum amount of pay that differs depending on the region. Example, the minimum wage on NCR is 537 pesos. Overtime pay. Overtime pay is an additional 25% premium on the hourly rate for work rendered beyond 8 hours. It is mandatory. Special non-working day. This gives 30% premium of the daily wage if an employee works during a non-working holiday. Regular holiday. An employee is entitled his full wage on such day even if he did not work. Additionally, if he worked during the holiday, his pay gets doubled. Double holidays. This is a rare occurrence wherein a regular holiday and a special holiday falls on the same day. Example, President Rodrigo Duterte declared August 21, 2018 as a special non-working, Eidul Adha, and regular holiday Ninoy Aquino Day at the same time. 13th month pay. 13th month pay is entitled to every employee who worked for at least 1 month in the company. The 13th month pay primarily consists of total basic monthly salary of an employee for the whole year divided by 12 months. So basically, those who work for less than a year, however, are only entitled to receive the amount due to them on the number of months they were employed in the company. Night shift differential. If an employee works between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., there is a 10% premium on his or her hourly rate. Service Incentive Leave, or known as the SIL. An employee who has rendered at least 1 year of service is entitled to have 5 days of paid leave for every year of service. An employee can add more depending on their agreement between the employer, but the minimum is 5. Separation pay. Separation pay is connected to the labor code within the Philippines, and it must be given to a person that is employed to a company that has been separated from his or her service within the business. Retirement pay. Employees aged 60 to 65 who have served the company for at least 5 years is eligible to acquire retirement pay. The retirement pay shall be computed as follows. Minimum retirement pay is equals to daily rate times 22.5 days multiplied by the number of years in service. Maternity leave. Maternity leave is a leave that is paid by the Social Security System or SSS for women who give birth or suffer a miscarriage. It is equivalent for 105 days for birth and 60 days for miscarriage. Paternity leave. Paternity leave is a 7-day paid leave entitled for married men if their wife gives birth. Parental leave for solo parents. It is a 7-day leave with pay for every year of service for solo parents. Leave for victims of RA 9262 or Anti-Violence Against Women Law. This leave is equal to 10 days of leave with pay to enable them to attend hearings for their case. Special leave for women. This refers to 2 months of leave with pay for women who underwent surgery, specifically gynecological disorders. Let us now proceed to topic number 3, managing decisions, employer objectives and strategies. Although the regulatory environment places some important constraints on the benefits decisions, the employers still retain significant discretion and need to evaluate the payoff of such decisions. As discussed earlier, this evaluation needs to recognize that employees have come to expect certain things from their employers. Employers who do not meet these expectations will now run the risk of violating what has been called an implicit contract between the employer and its workers. If employees believe their employers feel a little commitment to their welfare, it will affect their performance, and they can hardly be expected to commit themselves to the company's success. So on the previous topics, we mainly discussed on the side of employees. We mainly discussed on the mandatory benefits and contributions that they get. But on this topic number 3, we will mainly focus on the side and the point of view of the employers. What are the things that they need to consider on investing into such benefits for their employees, and how can it affect them? This is the part where cost control will prevail, because it is the most important thing that an employer should consider on controlling their expenses. So, why do they need to consider this? It is because it is an important factor in maintaining and growing profitability. Cost control is a practice of identifying and reducing business expenses to increase the profit of the company. In thinking about cost control strategies, it is useful to consider several factors. Number 1, The larger the cost of a benefit category, the greater the opportunity for savings, because when you have a higher cost of benefit category, there is more rooms for opportunity for savings, such as discounts. Number 2, the growth trajectory of the benefit category is also important. Even if costs are currently acceptable, the rate of growth may result in serious costs in the future. It simply means the growth trajectory of the benefit category needs to be considered too, because it can greatly and significantly affect the employer and their expenses in the future. Number 3, cost containment efforts can only work to the extent that the employer has significant discretion in choosing how much they will spend in a benefit category. This number means that the employer needs to think and act wisely. They need to be smart on which benefit category they will invest. Here are some examples of the benefit categories or programs that the employers can invest. First, the Health Maintenance Organization or HMO. This is a healthcare plan that provides benefits on a prepaid basis for employers who are required to use only HMO medical service providers. So what do you mean by prepaid? Prepaid is a payment that is paid for in advance. An HMO is a network or organization that provides health insurance coverage for a monthly or annual fee. An HMO is made up of a group of insurance providers that limit coverage to medical care provided through doctors and other providers who are under the contract to the HMO. Next, Preferred Provider Organization or PPO. It is a group of healthcare providers who contract with employers, insurance companies, and so forth to provide healthcare at a reduced fee. And additionally, PPO plans are more comprehensive in their coverage and offer a wider range of providers than HMO plans, but it comes at a higher cost than HMO plans. Lastly, the Employee Wellness Programs or EWPs. EWPs focus on changing behaviors both on and off work time that could eventually lead to future health problems. Generally, EWPs are preventive in nature, which means they attempt to manage healthcare costs and workers' compensation costs by decreasing employees' needs for services. Typically, these programs aim at a specific health risks such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, smoking, and obesity. So, that's it guys for lesson 11. I hope you understood the lesson and enjoyed watching. Again, this is Lemuel Reyes from BSBA HRM12N, and thank you for listening.